Hi, you guys. My name is Anaí. Today I'm going to be talking about Myers-Bruggen-Crusher syndrome, also known as MRKHS. Summer 2015, I actually found out I was pregnant. I was going through the last of my first trimester. Like every other girl, I wanted to share my enjoyment with my family and with my closest friends. I only have three closest friends. Yes, hard to believe. But I choose my friends very selectively, and these three have stuck like glue. I love the girls to death. We were actually known as Tequila Sisters. The name came from when we used to go to bars and we used to just drink tequila. So don't worry, we always had a DD. One of us will always be the designated driver, and the other three would drink. That a night that I decided to tell my Tequila Sisters, I decided to be the DD that night and take him to the bar as an excuse for not drinking. We went to the bar. We were talking, laughing. When it came down to almost the end of the night, I told my Tequila Sisters that I was pregnant. I had gone through my first trimester, and I was waiting for my first trimester to end in order to be able to share this news with everybody. Two of them were really overjoyed. They congratulated me. They were excited that they were going to be aunts. One of them wasn't so excited. Not knowing why, we went ahead and talked to her because she started to cry. So when talking to my friend, she expressed her hatred towards me at the moment. Her hatred that I had something she would never have. I was able to get pregnant and she was not. She then proceeded to tell us that at the age of 16, she was diagnosed with MRKHS, a condition where you are born without a uterus. According to Erin Biba in her article, A Baby Born in Secret, 1 in every 5,000 girls are born with MRKHS. Today, we're going to discuss what MRKHS is, uterus transplant, and the options of having a family. MRKHS is when the girl is born without a uterus. They're basically born once they come out the womb. Typically, they do not know they're born with MRKHS until they reach puberty. Puberty is when you start getting your menses. Is when you basically find out of this condition. Girls with the MRKHS will never have a menstrual cycle because they don't have a uterus. According to Laura Beeben and her studies, Dr. Laura Beeben, she is a pediatrician, and she did a study about MRKHS. It was linked to two different things: chromosome imbalance, and then the second thing was genetics. The two things were linked to women that were born with MRKHS. Those were the two things. And in short, they also went through a series of psychological tests where they saw that 40% of women with MRKHS had a higher rate of suffering from depression. This is due to if the girl is thinking, because I don't have a menstrual cycle, I'm not a woman. If I can't have a family, how can I call myself a woman? All these questions are brought up by the woman suffering from MRKHS. Now that we know what MRKHS is, let's discuss uterus transplant. The first uterus transplant was done in Sweden on a woman with MRKHS. This doctor believed that if we could transplant a kidney, why can't we transplant a uterus and give the gift of life? There is benefits, and then there's a downfall with any organ transplant there is. As far as the uterus transplant, you have to actually take medication to not reject the organ, like any organ transplant. The benefits of it is that the one case in Sweden, one case was a woman suffering from MRKHS was able to conceive and have a child. You do have to go through a series of IVF treatments. The downfall of the uterus transplant is it does get hopes up for women with MRKHS. It gives them the hope of possibly starting a family of their own. That just like any organ transplant, it has high risk of rejection, and then it has low blood supply. If the organ doesn't have enough blood supply, the organ is dead. 4 out of 3 women had to get the transplant taken out due to rejection. Now, as far as the uterus transplant, not all the women qualify. Now that we have discussed uterus transplant, let's go through the options of having a family. If transplant is not an option for the family, if transplant is not an option for the woman with MRKHS, they have 2 options. They have the option to adopt a child within the community, adopt a child in other states, and then women with MRKHS also have a second option, an option of surrogacy. Even though women with MRKHS are born without a uterus, they still ovulate. So a surrogate is an excellent choice if you are wanting to start a family. Yes, they will not experience the beauty of getting big, getting bloated, but if a uterus transplant is not an option, surrogacy is another. They will go through rounds of IVF treatment, but they do have that option. Now that we have discussed what MRKHS is, uterus transplant, and options to have a family, now that we have learned that today, just remember, 1 in every 5,000 girls are born with MRKHS. MRKHS, that could be your daughter, your sister could suffer from it. Basically, anybody that we know could have it. It's a low percentage, but anybody that we know could have it. Look at me and my friend. I thought I hurt her feelings the day I told her I was pregnant. And she cried at the bar in front of everybody and expressed her hatred. I did not know she suffered from that. But now that I know these other options she could take, it is actually really good that she told us that night, because it was not my intention to tell her, hey, I'm pregnant and you're not. My intention was to share news that brought joy to me. Thank you, everybody.